partnership with Wing VC, we are at Nasdaq's market site celebrating the Enterprise Tech 30 list. My name is Christina Ayanian, and joining me today is CEO of 1Password, Jeff Shiner. Jeff, thank you so much for joining us.
Happy to be here.
Now, your title, CEO, is not Chief Executive Officer, but you refer to yourself as Chief...
Eliminator of obstacles.
Why is that?
You know, when we were looking at the title, we're a human company. That's what we do, is human security. And CEO, I get it. Like, you need to have that title sometimes, but it was so inhuman, right? And so I thought of it, how do I make it more relatable? And how do I say a little bit about what I actually do? And what I spend a lot of my time doing is eliminating the obstacles so that those who really do the work at our company can actually do it quite well.
And you really are an eliminator of obstacles, both internally and externally, with your employees and the general public who are using your software. 1Password has really built up to be a household name amongst password security and amongst your clients. Why is that?
I think it's because we spent so many years at the beginning as a consumer app. We spent just years focusing on how do we make it easy for people, for real human beings like you and I, to work online in a secure way. And I think at the end of the day, people want to be secure, but they don't want to have it be difficult. And that's really where we focused.
What exactly does 1Password do? Can you dive a little bit into your software?
Yeah, so much like the name implies, we're an enterprise password manager. And so both for consumers and for businesses, all the way up to the largest of enterprises, you have the same challenge, and that is, as a human, we suck at security. And and so when you think of it from a point of view of a person, whether we're trying to log in at home or we're trying to log in at work, we have the same challenge, and that is, how do I as a human remember a strong, unique password? And as people, we don't. And so 1Password can take all of that work that a human has to do, put it inside of an app where you only have to have that one password for you to remember, and we'll do the rest for you.
You're a password security company and you're managing so much data. How do you keep 1Password secure?
Yeah, one of the big things that we decided when we built the SaaS side of 1Password back starting in 2014, 2015, is we said, A, we don't want to be a target, and B, if there were ever a case where our data was stolen, we want to make sure that it is useless. So we introduced what we call the secret key, which is a machine-generated, random, big, long, gobbledygook number that stays only on your local device, never comes to us, and is included in the encryption. Because one of the weakest points of any encryption service is that human-generated password. So you have to have a machine-generated part. And that way, we never have the keys. We have no ability to decrypt your data whatsoever, and it's not guessable by anybody because it's got the machine-generated part.
And the machine-generated part, does it automatically update? So are you constantly updating your password without even knowing it?
It's each person gets their own machine-generated part on their own device. Mm-hmm. So when you have your own phone, your own laptop, each of those has your secret key on there, which gets added to, again, your account password, your 1Password password, mm-hmm. to end up being the key that's used to ultimately decrypt your data.
Is there a maximum limit or a max number of passwords or of accounts that you can connect to 1Password?
No, I was looking at mine the other day. I have 15,000 items in my
Wow.
1Password vaults between, again, passwords and the addresses and my driver's license, my passports, a whole number of secure documents that I store in there. There's no limit whatsoever.
Wow, it's like I don't want to call it an imaginary vault, but a vault that you don't see that really is your key to everything, your key to life.
Yeah, and it's more than one vault, which is the exciting part. So, for instance, at home, I have a vault for myself. I have a vault that I share with my wife. We have a vault that the entire family shares. At work, we have vaults for the social team so they can log into company accounts. We have accounts for the finance team where we need to either share credentials like the bank account or share really important documents that we need to share securely. So not only can you have your own individual vault, but you can actually share. And what's nice about that is when you add an employee to that vault, they get access to everything that's in there. When you remove them from the vault, they no longer have access to that content.
Well, as someone who manages multiple accounts on my own, it definitely comes in handy. How do you see the ever-changing environment, the tech landscape evolving into AI now? How do you see that affecting your business?
One of the biggest challenges that I think people are facing even today is phishing. So phishing is just you get the email that tries to convince you to do something that's unsafe. The old, hey, your credit card has been blocked, just follow this link and unblock it. That's a phishing attack, and what they're trying to do is they're trying to get your credentials. They're trying to have you log into that fake bank site and give your bank password. Today, those are pretty immature, but they're still successful. When you look at things like AI, those type of attacks are going to get a lot more sophisticated. So it may turn out to be a lot more sophisticated email, or it may end up being somebody who looks and sounds like somebody you know, giving you a Zoom call or giving you a FaceTime and saying, hey, I need this information. So our role in security is to continue to defend against that and continue to find ways that instead of making it a human's job to defend against it, the software itself can.
AI can also contribute to a seamless user experience. What is biometric-based security, and how does 1Password incorporate that into your system?
So biometrics, so we all use it every day on our devices. It's Face ID, it's Touch ID, it's fingerprints, right? And we use it to unlock the devices that we have with us, the phones or laptops, and that's become very, very prevalent. And so there's a couple of things that are important to recognize about that, and that is it should unlock your device. Your face or your fingerprint shouldn't go to an end app or service. It should stay on the device, and that's what we've become accustomed to. And so when we think of it from an ease of use point of view, you typically now enter your password into that app or service on your phone once, and from there on in, you're going to use your Face ID. So that is great from a usability perspective. I think it also leads us into a path and something we're very excited about, which is Passkeys, which says, how do we eliminate even that very beginning password itself and just use that experience, that behavior of logging into your phone with your face or your finger, and then take that and extend it all the way to the end app.
Is that what you mean by passwordless future? There's been that term thrown out a lot from 1Password.
Yeah, passwordless future is somewhat of a broader term that just means getting rid of the password as the authentication. There's been a group, what's called the FIDO Alliance, a group of people that's Apple, Microsoft, Google, ourselves, and others that have been working for many years on what is the right way to do that. And that's where Passkeys have come about. So Passkeys is really, to your point, the passwordless experience, but in a way that not only the platforms are going to support, but the security companies like 1Password are going to support. So we can provide that passwordless experience for people out there that is both easier to use and safer, and make sure we can do that across all the platforms.
That's incredible. I feel like you do so much. What's next? What else is there out there for 1Password?
So 1Password, again, right now, I think Passkeys is our big, that's where we're at. We launched some exciting news a couple of weeks ago at RSA when we talked about having both the ability to save and fill passkeys within 1Password, but not only that, 1Password itself is taking the next step, and that is getting rid of the 1Password in 1Password and replacing that by a passkey. And so that's going to make, again, people's lives a lot simpler. When we look at it going forward, the next thing to do is to sit there and say, well, why would a business, why would a company want to provide a password experience for their customers? And that's what's going to take things like passkeys from an individual's use to where everybody's using it. So what is that benefit? What's the benefit of a company, of a retailer, for instance, who says, hey, why should I offer a passwordless experience for my customer? And there's two benefits. One, today, that retailer has, let's say, millions of customers, which means they have passwords for millions of customers, which means they need to protect passwords for millions of customers, which costs them a lot of money and makes them a target for those who are trying to steal the passwords for millions of customers. So there's a big security benefit if they can get rid of those passwords with passkeys. But on the other side, you've got the marketing side or the sales side saying, wow, like we do all of this work to make a seamless checkout experience or the seamless sign-on experience, but then we've got this wart in the middle of a password. And we've got abandoned carts because people forget their passwords, or they don't want to sign up because we're making them choose this strong password with all of these silly rules. So if we can get rid of that, even on the business side, there's a big benefit. So I think we're going to see businesses wanting to offer a passwordless experience to their customers, as much for the security benefits as for the business benefits that they get as well.
Absolutely, both a consumer and a business benefit. Maintaining password health, good password health is crucial.
Absolutely.
Yeah. You've really built the business from ground up and have evolved in so many different industries and sectors. What advice do you have for entrepreneurs?
When we started, so I'll give a bit of a background on 1Password. When we started, for many years, we were a consumer app. And that helped us tremendously because at the end of the day, we're human security. We need to understand what our customers want and need, and our customers are people. We transitioned about 7 years ago and really added the B2B side, and now we have well over 100,000 businesses using 1Password, including 25% of the Fortune 100 who are using 1Password as a business customer. And it's because, again, we've continued to listen to, in this case, our business customer who says, hey, I've got a lot of challenges. My employees don't have good password hygiene. They have the same challenges as everybody else. I don't know what software is coming into my company because it comes in from the edge. And so through all of this, the seed of it has been, we had to listen to our customer. Your customers are going to tell you what they want, what they need, what they like, what they don't. We're not always going to follow them exactly, but they're going to tell you, they're going to reinforce what you need to do and what you don't need to do.
Absolutely. I really admire your people-centric approach to solve their problems and the company's problems.
It's like your biggest source of free knowledge, the biggest source of free product, biggest source of free marketing. And a lot of companies play it a little bit of lip service. And I think if you can really tap into your customers and really try and be there where they are, whether it's in the small user groups all the way up to large conferences, I think you can learn an awful lot.
Yeah, that's really inspiring. Thank you so much for sharing, and we look forward to continue following your story.